Hi, John Wanoa here again. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of April 2016. I just want to read you this article from Tonga on the 22nd of December 2009. Was when they opened the New Zealand Supreme Court in Wellington, New Zealand, when Prince William was here to officiate the opening from Britain. Now, I'll read it out to you so that you can tell that there is a problem with the New Zealand government and its constitution. Why Sir Geoffrey Palmer was the Prime Minister back then in 1986 that put the New Zealand Constitution Act together. Now, because he did it, the politicians drafted this together and passed it themselves. They voted for it themselves, not the public of New Zealand. It was made for them, designed by them for themselves. That's why there's a problem with their principles of the Treaty of Waitangi, 1840 agreement that has no end date on its contract with the Queen. You see, so you've got a number of issues that we're bringing up with this flag that we're going to raise on the treaty grounds as being, John Key, you made a terrible mistake back then by going past this flag of a statement of confidence inside it as the King of England, King William IV, and not any statement of confidence that was required from you before opening the new Supreme Court of New Zealand with Parliament, with your Parliament. At the time, I drafted a few letters to you that none of you answered. In 2008, Lisbon Treaty, and then the 2009, those are all these affidavits are on Facebook and on YouTube. And you have not responded to any of them. None of any ministers have ever responded. Even the Queen, even Britain, have ever opened up to the public of New Zealand, and especially the HAPU chiefs, elders, and the whakameninga flag, the whakaputanga flag of 1834, the 10th of March 1834, and up till 1835, 28th of October. This flag achieved the founding documents of this country, and the Navy raised it on the flagstaff of the British ship on Kororareka, Maiki Hill, on top of Russell Village, settlement of the British. Okay, so now we are going to put this flag up on the treaty grounds on that other second British ship and its mast as our partners to Britain, British military, to come and help us to put our flag in place, because John Key threatened our country, land that still belongs to us, and every instrument under this flag of Admiralty, court-martial law. Okay, we achieve and maintain continuity of sovereignty to King William IV as our own sovereignty. So now, John Key, the police charged you, as I'm going to read it out in this news clip from Tonga, that you never had any of the press here publish anything about the opening of that Supreme Court with the confidence of the British government and Westminster, with the Queen as head of state here. She is in the EU Parliament when the Lisbon Treaty she signed on 2008 and 2009 was brought into law. That's when all this racket started. And still going on right till today, that the police have now got to, with our orders and this flag of our sovereign authority of a King of England, Constitution 1865, UK Britain, and 1835 Constitution inside this flag of jurisdiction and sovereignty and the monarch status of the King of England, King William IV, to now order the police, New Zealand police, to arrest John Key, as it says in this statement when I read it to you in this clip. And I'm saying to the rest of the world watching these videos that I have, over 750 of them, one way or another, adds up to over 3,000 affidavits making statements right back before the Lisbon Treaty was signed, and all this carry on with the New World Order has come out with John Key failing on his Fern football All Black flag, trying to take over this country and sign the TPPA agreement with the 12 countries are liable now in the Pacific over the top of our chiefs he didn't get consent from, and me, the surrogate King William IV, speaking for the King of England. Okay, so I'm doing all the legal work to investigate your titles, John Key, because I'm a native assessor, as was, as still is, in the High Court of Admiralty, here in these courts, the King's Bench Court, the King of the Sea, the King's Royal Revenue, the King's Sheriff, creditor, confiscate everything back since you threatened us with your draconian approach to taking everything as if you owned it, and still assuming that you have sovereignty from a Queen without a statement of confidence. Now, Sir Geoffrey Palmer, ex-Prime Minister of Labour, is calling for a new constitution. So what does that make him? A liar? That he put together a constitution, 1986, as a New Zealand constitution without the public's consent and without the chief's consent. The Foreshore and Seabed 2004 Act, they passed it with Helen Clark, you're liable. That's what the Pope said. He said, I destroy all corporations and trusts and all my laws. And you're on your own, John Key, because you're liable. Each person is liable that has your name in front of me, our chiefs, elders, our whakamininga of this flag, the whakaputanga flag. You're liable. Now with these bills we have in pound notes. We have our own pound notes and gold coins that we can print and mint at any time. We are using those levy debtor instruments as the King's Bench creditor, okay, in the courts here. Now your Supreme Court, John Key, libelled Australia Supreme Courts because you used, and they used, the 1986 Constitution that you put together, Sir Geoffrey Palmer, and they used it, and Canada and America has usurped our King William IV flag and our contract. This is a private contract that still exists from when we first got it on the 28th of October 1835, prevails over all Admiralty since the Pope got rid of yours. So all you Commonwealth countries usurping Admiralty law of Britain, UK, is demolished, except our private contract. between the chiefs, natives of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Britain military, navy, and air force, and army. Okay? Now, the question here is Westminster never gave authority to New Zealand to use its laws since it stamped itself off with their 1902 flag of the Union Jack. And now they have a flag problem, a constitutional problem, a sovereignty problem, a Queen's problem, and now a debt problem facing us. Okay, so the police, this is a message to you. The police, Minister Bush, Mike Bush, I've written to you many times, and I wrote to the last Minister and Police Chief, Peter Marshall. No response, absolutely nothing. And those three detectives, and Natalie Flowerdew Brown, the detective that arrested me, under what oath? You see, you've got an oath problem. That's really, really bad. It says it in here. Who did you swear your oath to? You see? So in Australia, they swore it to the law, not to the Queen, to the law. Now what is the law? You can't use UCC law, or canon law, or courier law, or civil law, or Admiralty law anymore. You cannot use that on us. We're using it on you. Okay, so I'm going to read this article from the Tonga newspaper. And it goes like this. Prince William opens New Zealand Supreme Court for mystery judge. Prince William will officially represent the Queen for the first time when he formally gives his royal sovereign endorsement at the opening of the NZ Supreme Court in Wellington on the 18th of January 2010. The royal event is now tarnished by the actions of the NZ New Zealand Prime Minister, the Honourable John Key, his Minister for Justice, and the New Zealand Chief Justice, Sean Elias. On the 22nd of December 2009, the New Zealand Police issued case file number 09121-8/6055 against the New Zealand Prime Minister and his Minister for Justice on charges under the Crimes Act 1961. Okay, I'll name those two. John Key and the Minister of Chief of Justice, Judith Collins. Okay, so that just lets you have that on top of it. Right, then it goes. The police will undertake a full investigation on both ministers. The Minister for Police is aware of this investigation. To date, no public statement has been made by the New Zealand government keeping this information secret until the Kele breaks this exclusive news. That's the Tongan newspaper. Since March 2009, the New Zealand government knew that the courts operate outside the law. This information was denied to the Queen with no knowledge of such unconstitutional practices happening in the New Zealand courts. The Kele believes the Queen must know that the NZ judges do not disclose their name on judgment documents. There are judgments made at Court of Appeal and Supreme Court level without reasons given. One may wonder why judges in New Zealand do not uphold the law and the Constitution. The Supreme Court replaces the Independent Privy Council in London, which was strongly recognised for its constitutional robustness and sound judicial decisions. To date, the Queen and the people of New Zealand have been denied knowledge of the court's unlawful practices. The Prime Minister, his Minister for Justice, Judith Collins, including the Chief Justice, Sean Elias, refused several times to give statements of confidence for the performance of their courts when requested. The official police investigation now underway will ensure that law and order will be re-established. The police operates under an oath to serve the Queen faithfully. The Governor-General representing the Queen was fully aware of all this, but has not proven to date he has informed the Queen under his duties to save the Queen and the Prince William from embarrassment. All members of New Zealand Parliament, including the executive branch of government, were notified on the 22nd of December 2009 that the Supreme Court cannot produce a statement of confidence, which would need the Queen's constitutional standards. The dilemma is, for what reason will the Queen allow Prince William to open the New Zealand Supreme Court without being sure why the Prime Minister, Honourable John Key, his Minister for Justice, Judith Collins, and the New Zealand Chief Justice Sean Elias, Supreme Court Judge, have not been able and were not willing to give a statement of confidence. Dilemma of New Zealand flag and court seal. The original 1835 sovereign national flag of New Zealand, presented by King William IV, was raised when the New Zealand native chiefs signed the Declaration of Independence. The flag in the New Zealand courtrooms today herald a jurisdiction that has no relationship to the founding documents signed by the New Zealand natives chiefs in 1835. Okay? The official seal of the court, the seal of Parliament, and the seal of police all bear no relevance to the 1835 sovereign national flag proclaimed by King William IV, King of England. The question arises, what was the founding document signed by the New Zealand natives on the 12th of June 1902 that allowed the current New Zealand flag to become the flag of the courts, including the seal for the courts, Parliament and police? That's the 1902 Union Jack flag. That's seal in the courts. It must concern Prince William that the 1835 flag of the King that he is named after is not in the court seal of the Supreme Court. He is to open when there is no reason given by government why this happened. Does this not grossly undermine the New Zealand Constitution, whilst it also demonstrates a dishonour to King William IV and Prince William? the obscure reasons why the New Zealand government changed its flag on the 12th of June 1902 without founding documents will be discussed in other articles following. Tonga was Great Britain's protectorate state. Soon Tonga will undergo changes from a royal kingdom to a constitutional monarchy. The Tongan king has an opportunity to learn from the lessons presented in New Zealand so that Tonga will not fall trap to a constitutional dilemma. Now, there we go. That's the Tu Uaki me Tonga mo nu Usila. That's dated on, I'm just trying to see what date it is, 2010. Okay, it's got a bit chipped off the 1st of October 2010 in Tonga. Okay, so there you go. Now, this is how it's going to happen with us, the chiefs and the elders on the marae, the Waitangi marae. Over the other side, the top marae in Waitangi belongs to Kingi Taurua, chief on his feet, the last chief on his feet, standing in a marae, is the leader that I'm dealing with to make these decisions on the flag raising on his land at Ngāti Kawa, Waitangi Treaty Grounds, and also Ngāti Rahiri, where the whakaputanga flag was under the Pohutakawa tree in Ngaire, up north of Matari Bay. I've been there, I've seen where the chiefs all sat in the paddock by the river mouth, on the sea, open sea. They all came there and discussed the flag before they met with these settlers from Britain, okay, in the treaty grounds over there on Te Tii Marae. Those land blocks have got all the original titles. I got them from the old chiefs, Utatonga's family and the Manukau family. Okay, so I've got all those titles in Auckland, the originals, to Britain. That's why the British are responsible, legally responsible, to put John Key on notice that he's no longer reliable or honest to run this country off the rails and put it in $118 billion debt. We don't run debt like that, not a MOAI Commonwealth government of the world under this flag that we're already gone out now as being selling shares in pound notes to offset the debtors. John Key, you're a levy debtor on the pound note already up against a £1 trillion note on your head, and every other person who voted for this flag, the Fern flag, a football all black flag, and our MOAI statue at Cardiff in England, it all added up to these conspiracy of this meteorite coming out of the sky. Was a football shaped like an egg, and the Easter egg on Easter Island, then the MOAI statues came out of the ground, and they're playing around with our spirits. John Key, you and your football was at Cardiff to open the World Rugby Cup games, and Britain lost. You see? Lost. Why? It's because they are playing around with our history and our flag, and you're going to pay for it. I'm just saying, the New Zealand police are now liable, singly, persons are liable. We can pull you out one by one and put this levy debtor instrument on your heads. We're going to do that, we're already doing it. If you see your name in our documents, labelled in the box, you stand to lose everything and get locked up under the Sheriff's Acts of King William IV.